I'm here with Ben Young, this guy, with the freaking awesome shirt, who is guitar tech for,
Linkin Park.
yes, specifically
For Alex Feder,
okay.
who is the guitar player that is in Brad Delson's place.
Okay.
But I used to also tech for Brad Delson back in the day.
Is this your favorite job you've ever had in the world?
This is one of my favorite ones that I've had. Yeah, this is the job that kind of most feels like home. I've had a lot of other jobs. I also do Fallout Boy. That's one of my other regular gigs. Love that job also. This one's just the right amount of challenge and satisfaction and all that. Yeah,
Okay. Where are you originally from?
Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
Grew up there.
So, what got you into this whole world? Did you start up there and then came over here, or?
No, I was a pretty crappy musician up until I don't know my mid 30s. Uh, I wanted to when I was looking for colleges. I knew I wanted to do something in music, and I was like, oh, I'll just go get a communications degree and work in radio, not knowing that like about the time I would have been graduating college would have been like the decline
Of radio?
terrestrial radio. But I had found out through one of my favorite bands, this kind of small band called Self. They were from the city Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They were on an indie label there. I became a field rep for this indie label to promote their bands, and found out about this recording major at Middle Tennessee State University. So I went there to learn how to record music. When I graduated, moved out to LA, worked at a recording studio, but met a band there. Was recording their debut record for Capitol Records, and they're like, "When we're done, we need a guitar tech and a tour manager." And I was like, "I can do those things," knowing barely anything about either of those things. But it was their first tour.
The epitome
van
of
and
fake it
trailer
till you
tour.
make it.
Yeah. Just trial by fire. Also, I probably thought I knew those things. Whatever, it was fine. It worked out. But then from there, yeah, just kind of got bigger and bigger. I thought I'd let a band pay me to see the world for a year or two, then go get a real job. And now, 22 years later, still don't have a real job.
You were a field rep for a record label.
Yeah, a small independent label called Sponge Bath Records.
What was that like?
Um, it was cool because I just would basically they would send me cassettes like samplers of some of their bands.
You're dating yourself now.
Yeah. I mean, this was 1996, 97-ish.
Okay.
They would send me cassettes, and I'd just go to shows, and like as people were coming out, like hand them the single of some of their bands and whatnot. Sometimes go to like record stores and be like, "Here's a record from this new band. You should play her in your store." But yeah, it was mostly just learning about really cool music from that small label.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've ever heard anybody having that job. Is that record label still around?
No, they went away probably shortly after I graduated college. So yeah, they may be around until like 2004, 2005, but some of those bands are still around. Yeah.
So what was your first band you went on tour with?
First band I toured with was a band called Stereogram. They were from New Zealand.
It was like a baby band in a van.
Yeah, baby band in a van, but they had gotten signed to Capitol Records and were doing their debut record for them. And from then, though, it kind of really took off for me. I was with them for about 18 months, but through that, through them, I'd met a band called The Matches, and they ended up signing to Epitaph Records, and I just really loved that band. And I basically had a job on Warped Tour one year, and I made friends with them. My goal is like I'm gonna make friends with them. I'm gonna bother them every day, and then by the end of Warped Tour, they're gonna hire me as their guitar tech. Which essentially that's how it worked out. But the cool thing about them is they were a band's band, so we got a lot of really cool tours, and that's how I just met a lot of other techs and people that were like, "Oh, Ben was cool. Hey, we need somebody on this tour. We should call Ben." Yeah, and that just kind of helped things go from there.
I love that band's band, kind of like Dirty Loops, band's band.
Yeah.
Okay, so from the very beginning on tour, you've been guitar tech and nothing else.
Essentially, yes. Although that does lead to an interesting thing that has happened to me in my job that is not normal. But yeah, for the most part in the touring world,
you can't just skip past that.
Oh, I'm going to go to it.
Okay.
But almost always been guitar tech. When I started working for Linkin Park in 2014, it came to my attention that's like, oh, Brad Delson, the guitar player, he's kind of implying like, you should learn all the songs, learn the songs. And I ended up having to fill in for him a couple times on shows. So 3 shows.
Okay.
Did I do 4? 3 shows where I've had to be the lead guitar player for Linkin Park. Very stressful. And then that led to, once I started working for Fallout Boy, Joe, the guitar player that I worked for in that band, at one point he was having a kid and couldn't do a European tour and was like, oh, I got to find somebody to fill in for me that tour. I'm like, I've played for Linkin Park. He's like, I know, we got to talk. We never talked, but then no, but we never had that conversation. Then just one day it's like, hey, you can do the European tour? Cool. So,
You
yeah.
did a whole tour?
I mean, it's about 6 dates, but yeah.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, so that's always kind of like, and I'm just a mediocre guitar player. I don't know why like people have let me do this, but it's worked out well.
What was it like? Was it nuts? And who was your guitar tech?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Willie G. Yeah, Willie G did one show. There's 2 other shows. Kyle Henderson was there. Another guitar tech. At the time, he was doing Panic at the Disco, and I was like, "Hey, man, I have to play these shows. Just found out yesterday. Can you? It's a lot of guitar swaps. Here's the notes. Just if you just hand me tuned guitars." And then in Fall Out Boy, I think I was just teching for myself because it's mostly one guitar the whole show, and I just had a backup ready to go. And yeah, just did the thing.
Dude, yeah, firing yourself as a guitar tech.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that changed your style of teching after you started playing? After you played that?
I mean, I don't know.
Did you have a different perspective on anything, or?
Sadly, I don't think so.
Sure.
It was just always, I mean, maybe understanding what they might be going through on stage a little more, knowing like when there's too much chatter on the talkbacks or something,
Sure.
It can be distracting. But I don't know. I think I've just been in big rooms so much. It just sort of is like, all right, now we're just doing this now.
Who is one person you would pay to guitar tech for?
Ooh. What I paid a guitar tech for?
Yeah.
I've always been, I mean, at this point, you still need to pay me. So I don't know if then that would mean going back historically, like who can I not be available for, or who's not available anymore. But I've always been interested in Matt Bellamy's rig from Muse, and I heard that like they're all on Axe FX 3 now, so I've always been really interested in that rig. Who
is one band you would love to fill in for 6 dates in Europe?
Okay, that's a good one too. You know what? If I just had the skills, it's like, hey man, you're the new Eddie Van Halen. I'm not that kind of guitar player. I am, every time I've had to fill in, I'm like, this is just on the edge of my skill.
Like if you got a call right now from this band, you would stop what you're doing, walk out the door, and
see, my brain thinks too like factually about stuff. I'm like, I don't know anybody's catalog right now.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, yeah. But maybe if I could be like the 3rd guitar player in Foo Fighters or something like that. Just,
that'd be
be fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So talk to me a little about how you got with this band.
Oh yeah. So this band, one of my friends was one of their engineers in the studio.
Okay.
And every once in a while, he would just call. They were like, "Hey, we need somebody to come set up guitars. Just change strings and kind of give the guitars a once over." So maybe like each album, starting around 2010, I'd kind of go in there, change strings and guitars for a day or two. Usually twice per album cycle or whatever, and then ended up needing a guitar tech. And since I knew some of the crew people, somewhat of a familiar face to the band, just my name got thrown in the hat. Got the call in 20. Actually, you know what? I said 2010. Probably is like 2006 or 7 when I was in the studio, because I started working for them in 2014. So yeah, I just got the call and started doing the gig. And I got hired as Delson's guitar tech. It's right when they were jumping to Axe FX 2s from actual tube amps. So it was just like, first kind of bit of pre-production was like, here's stems for 40 songs, make sounds and patches.
Makes sense.
So that was a fun, I knew the Fractal a bit at that point, but it was a good trial by fire. It's just like, all right, make all these sounds. Yeah.
So what's it been like on this tour?
I mean, with this tour, we just have like, there's 60, 70 people, but just everybody has a great attitude, and it's just, everybody's really positive. So it's just a good environment, just good people to be around.
What is your, looking back now through all the years with Linkin Park. Or no, let's rewind to your whole entire career. What was the one moment that you were here going, wow, I can't believe I'm here right now?
So one of those is a Linkin Park moment. We were doing, I think it was one of the last shows of one of our album cycles, but we were doing a show in Rome, Italy, and the crowd was louder than the PA. Just they were singing along to every song, and I'm like taking my ears and I'm like, yeah, that's the crowd. Like, fuck. That was a pretty cool moment.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how far are you guys out on this tour so far?
This tour, it's as far as this, we only have like about 2 or 3 shows left in the States. Then like a week later, go to Europe for 2 months, home for like a week or two, go do, and then do the next leg of the US tour for 2 months.
Okay.
Meanwhile, each time we're home, I'm going to do some one-off Fall Out Boy shows. So I think I did the math. When I left home for this tour until middle of September, I'm home for like 12 days. That's it.
So, man, touring can suck. It could be tough, especially with the balance of being home and being on the road and being grounded with that. Like, how do you stay grounded through all of that when you're in a different spot? Like, this is a crazy lifestyle.
Yeah,
is this anything you keep with you or remind you, or is there some sort of routine that you keep?
I'm just used to touring. And so I kind of know what it is. I don't really have, any family or kids at home, so that makes it easier. Try to get a good night's sleep and not drink too much on days off, but that's not always successful at that. But that builds camaraderie, being out, having drinks with the people. I don't know. I'm just used to touring, so it doesn't like, I don't get too sad or bummed out by not being home.
Do you have a favorite song on this tour?
Favorite song? No, I'd have to look at the set list. Whenever somebody asks like my favorite thing, all the superlatives, my mind goes blank right away. Yeah. Who's your favorite band? I'm like, I can't think of any band ever.
Nike.
Yeah. Now that I'm looking at the set list, there's some stuff off the new album that's pretty fun. We have a song called Two-Faced. That's got a lot of different parts to it. Like it's kind of aggressive. Like they just like, yeah, hearing that one and them nail it each night sounds pretty good.
Can I ask if we can do like a walkthrough?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna grab this camera, and can you like walk us through your gear?
How we're doing
using?
stuff. Yeah,
is
for
that
sure.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right.
So
what do we got going on?
So with this rig, this is kind of like we got this double wide rig, but this side is the side that I use for Alex and all his stuff, and then this side is Mike and Emily guitar. She plays on a couple songs. So on my side here, we got the Shure Accent wirelesses going into the JX44 for switching things up, and I've color coded those instead of using the numbers, which makes it easier in my head. And then that's splitting out to Fractal. They're both run at the same time, and then what is this called? The radial backtrack. So if I need a backup, that's basically the signal flow and what's going out there. I've got a patch for every song. The cool thing is, we use Ableton to kind of do all our MIDI changes and whatnot. So we just have all the songs in there, and each song has a locator at the top of it. So when playback hits the top of a song, our system jumps to the top of the song and it just plays through and does all the switching. But of course, we have a pedal board down here in case stuff went down or we have to change stuff on the fly. We just hit that stuff ourselves to do all that.
So all the songs and the effects are MIDI changed.
Yeah.
That's freaking wicked cool.
Yeah, there's a program change for each song to get a little deeper. Like each song is its own preset, and then we use the scenes, so the MIDI CC for scene changes within each song. And for the most part, each song maybe has like 3 different sounds, or I say different sounds. Might all be dirty, clean with delay, or chorus, something like that. A couple of songs have upwards of like 6 patch changes.
Tuners, what are you using?
Oh, here I got Peterson strobe, and then the Polytune 3. I got that going through out of the JX44. So any guitar that's not selected, I can stand here and tune it, and at least I know that like cool, the wireless pack is working and communicating. And then when we go to change a song, just activate the guitar that I'm using.
Activate guitar.
Yeah, bring it to them. Do the swap.
All right. Can we do a walkthrough maybe some of the guitars?
Yeah, a couple guitars. Cool.
That'd be cool. Or even your workbox here would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, workbox is a workbox.
Okay.
I got Circle 3. This is the first time I've been using it on this tour.
If you had to go do a fly gig right now, you can only grab 3 things out of this box. What are 3
Okay.
things you're grabbing?
Fly gig. Probably this tool, this Wera Tools makes a specific like guitar tools thing. So I'd probably grab that.
Hey, open that up. That thing's cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's got put that there, and then little screwdriver adapter for all that stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, just kind of get everything you need. I do also like the Fender Custom Shop When You're Ready kit that has a bunch of tools. I think I'm ready. I think I earned being able to use this, but I get a couple extra things in there that are helpful.
When You're Ready kit. That's awesome.
Yeah. I do love, and I always have this in there. The StewMac string action gauge, like for setup, seeing that the string's all at the right height. So I'd probably throw that in there with that. We'll count that as 2 things. And then what else? What else would I bring? What's in this box that's exciting? Assuming I already got the tuners over there. I think probably another set of wrenches, just in case I have to do any truss rod adjustments, stuff like that. Also from Wera Tools. You guys better give me some free shit for all this. Yeah.
All right. How many guitars are you in charge of?
So we have, I think there's 11 guitars in here. Essentially, it's like 5 tunings with a backup for each. And then on the set, actually, I can show you, like, for the last show, this is how I do my notes. And like each color, we have just a bunch of different tunings. So I kind of know like, okay, drop D PRS or the C sharp PRS, drop D sharp PRS. So I like to dumb it down for myself. So I know like, okay, doing, on the green frequency. But yeah.
Huh, that's genius.
And then, and that kind of corresponds to, in a sense, the colors that I have on each of those.
Oh my gosh, you have them on the guitars themselves.
Yeah, no, I just really try to dumb it down so I don't have to think. So I'm like, all right, so I'm going for the green drop D guitar and don't have to think much. But then I have the backup right there for that.
It's almost like you've done this before.
Yeah. It's my 3rd rodeo.
Favorite guitar out of all these?
So this Custom Shop Strat's pretty cool. We used to have 3 rigs, so we had 3 of these. We're mostly doing all this touring on 1 rig, but I really like this guitar. This gets used on, I would say, 2/3 of the set. But then some of the heavier drop C sharp stuff that we do, I think that's just a nice classic like Linkin Park guitar.
Ooh.
Yeah, with that the logo on it and whatnot. PRS. It just feels good to play.
Man.
There's like late 90s, early 2000s PRS guitars.
I
just
love
feel
that
really
color.
good. Yeah. Get another one that used to serve as the backup for that, but I wanted to get more time. So this might there's another one with that logo on it. Keep this one in drop or E flat standard, and that tuning really only makes an appearance on A Place for My Head.
Okay.
With this band, but it's a fun song.
Okay, you are walking in for the first time.
Yeah.
Your whole world is set up. What is the first thing you're doing?
I don't know how to attack that question. Making sure, turning on each of my packs, making sure that the frequencies are showing up and everything's working. Tune everything up, make sure it's all working, and then just kind of, go through and listen to each guitar, make sure it's playing. With the fractals, since we're not using any real amps on stage, we have the speaker set up so we can just kind of, make sure that we can hear the guitars and what everything's sounding like.
Okay, you are, sorry. There's someone that, oh my gosh, how do I word this? What's your advice to somebody who's a hobbyist guitarist that has maybe bought their very first guitar and they want to keep it maintained? What is your advice?
I know it took me a while to realize that that you can start to think like, oh my God, my guitar sounds awful. It's out of tune. It won't stay in tune. What's going on? And you just need to change strings. Like that fixes a lot of tuning issues if it's just not sounding right. Because when I used to play in my room, I'd leave strings on there for months, not realizing like that the gunk from your fingers kind of builds up and makes the strings kind of vibrate unevenly across the fretboard. So might sound like everything's out of tune and you don't know what's wrong, and just change the strings.
What's your advice for people who would want to be in your shoes one day?
I don't know. Everybody who's in this job has gotten into it a different way. Like, I don't know. There's like no like one good way to get into this job. And it's also, it helps doing it when you're younger, when you might not, need to make as much money.
Yeah.
I think for a long time I was just making $250 cash under the table and, a week, and not even getting paid that every day of the week, or every week of the year, I should say. But yeah, getting into it, if you have a friend who is in a band, or you become acquaintances with a local band that you think is gonna make it, just be like, hey, can I get in the band with you guys, do some touring, maybe work just for per diem or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's no,
yeah.
Like I said, every single person's way they got into this is different. So
Absolutely.
yeah, get a job at a local club with rock bands, and maybe.
That's actually smart. Yeah. If people want to follow you and follow your career, where can they follow you at?
I don't post much on Instagram, but that's probably the best spot. I think it's Benjamin_Chandler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or come to a Linkin Park or Fall Out Boy
Yeah.
show near you, look at stage right, or maybe if they're lucky, see you on stage.
Yeah. It's few and far between, but maybe.
Man, I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank you
you're
so
welcome.
much. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. We're just talking about something that was really cool. I got it off camera. Say that one more time.
You can also follow me or check out my band called Knifes, Knifes, or Knifes_band. We started off because me and one of our other techs on this tour, we just started jamming, and we're like, oh, this is kind of cool. So we started doing that, and then eventually we were both working for Fall Out Boy. We had a bunch of songs. Our buddy Diaz, who now techs for Blink-182, we're like, you're our bass player. So we got like me, tech for Blink-182. The drummer used to tech for Slipknot, and our band is sounds like 90s alternative rock, big heavy guitar riffs. So if you like any Linkin Park stuff, you might like my band.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right.